Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's daily brief. Woohoo, party. Happy Monday morning. TGIM. Just another manic Monday. I don't know what the weather's like. I've been hearing actually back east, it's a bit chilly. It was funny. There was I watched these YouTube videos about Ukraine and Russia and all that crap. And there was a Ukrainian, there was a big transport plane that left Canada with a couple tanks headed to the Ukraine, and they were taking a picture of it taking off. And even the guy in Ukraine goes, Jesus, it's cold there in Canada. It was like blizzard conditions. So I've always said this, the absolute best thing that could possibly happen for the country of Canada is global warming. So it's so ironic that substitute drama teachers want to kill our economy when he should be actually endorsing it. Use more carbons, use more carbons, more carbons. Anyway, what's this? Every time his name is mentioned, there is weird vibes, so I'm confused. Oh, is that about Mr. D? Anyway. So welcome back to the frivolity. Had a long rant there yesterday, went right off the deep end. This is what happens when people trigger me about the banksters. I get all excited. I have to say I was pretty impressed. I don't know whether he wants me to read back his response, but I asked the gentleman, he asked it like about 3 or 4 questions, and some people in the show were kind of like, well, that's not fair, man. When do I get my questions answered? You just answered all this guy's questions. So I said in the comments yesterday, yeah, I apologize, went off on a rant. I will address the rest of these questions, but I gotta say this is pretty touching. So as I had sort of put here, I asked him if he felt like his questions were answered, and he said yes. Actually, it was a very touching response that he had. So, I love when people say this BCS was one of the best I have seen so far. I even saved it in my playlist. So, I mean, yes, I get all excited. Yes, I get emotionally charged. But at the long, I even said it because I listened back to these videos after the fact. And I even remember saying, like, this is the truth, unfortunately, what I'm telling you. So it's not like I'm making this stuff up, but man, it sure can be emotionally charging. So through the daily brief here today, and if we have to tomorrow, I would like to answer these follow-up questions because as somebody pointed out right at the end of the video yesterday, they were a little bit upset. So, understandably so. This is, we'll probably do this in the after party. This first 30 minutes, it's 7 minutes past top of the hour. I think we started a couple minutes past, so like 9:30, 9:35, somewhere in there, we should wind up this sort of summary video. So it's a brand new week. We probably want to check in on what the econs are telling us. And then probably more importantly, what we should expect going forward. It is interesting. I am seeing lots of news articles about how inflation actually might just start to come charging back here. Actually, much sooner than what people thought. So that actually did surprise me a little bit looking through the news articles this morning. But I suppose, this is going to be a battle. And I spent a long time yesterday, of course, showing you Effie's awesome chart. Effing chart. I don't know whether you say that or not. But we all should expect at least 2 waves of this inflation over the next few years. It sucks. Get used to it. Klaus and his global reset jerks. And just basically servicing the banking sector's stupidity. But anyway, it is what it is. So, what's the headlines here this morning? If I understand correctly, Chappelle is going to be speaking again. Of course, you only say that if you want his baby. So, not too many people saying Chappelle these days. But you can see we had some econs come out overnight. Interestingly, the Australians didn't. Right? Or actually, no. I guess this is coming out because I guess that's later on today. Yeah, it must be. So we'll see if the Australians are going to raise interest rates. Interesting how we had PMI come out here in Canada, very, very strong, which is fascinating because the central bank idiot that's in charge of my country right now, the leader of the opposition totally had him trapped. Basically caught him in basically, you don't know what you're doing over there, do you? You're forecasting to the public the exact opposite of exactly what's happening. So either you're totally incompetent at your job and you don't know what the fuck you're doing, or it's all a damn conspiracy. And of course, they're trying to pull the wool over our eyes and all that crap, So anyway, so we had purchasing managers index in Canada come out. What do you think? Slight pop here? Should the central bankers be saying that they're done raising interest rates? In the eyes of that, that's like what, like 20% increase month over month? Yeah. I don't think they should be making any declaratory victory speeches over inflation, and I don't think that we're done raising interest rates. So that kind of surprised me this morning. That's a pretty big jump. And it just goes to show that, they jack the system. It's going to take a while before these silly consumers stop. And I still see these damn real estate developers still breaking ground on new properties here, which makes no sense whatsoever. I have no idea who the hell is going to be buying up all these damn units here in this country. It makes no sense whatsoever. The economics are completely screwy. And in fact, I was barking on social media, how bad the economics are last week. Here's a really good example where dairy farmers are forced to just dump, like literally, I think he said like 30,000 liters of milk they have to dump. I mean, what kind of fucked up economic world is this? This is the reason why the Soviet Union eventually collapsed, because it can't, after a while, you're just the economic model just starts to completely unravel. And what's worse is it's in the face of this. We have like a total K-shaped economy now. So couldn't some of these people use a little bit of milk, free milk in their lives? Maybe help them not to die of fucking diphtheria or typhoid in these conditions. I mean, it's so sad what's happening to our society. I don't know how the hell this ends, but I've warned all you guys. I honestly think we're heading back towards sort of that Scrooge type world, Dickinsonian kind of capitalism, which is kind of tragic. Anyway. So econs this morning fairly light. Although, like I said, that purchasing managers report did surprise me a bit to the upside. We had Chappelle supposed to be speaking tomorrow at about 9:40 my time. So that's, I guess, around just a little bit before the close. No, that's right around lunchtime for people on the East Coast. And then also this doofus. I mean, that's the guy that I was saying that the leader of the opposition completely trapped in his sort of double talk bullshit. So obviously, look at this, an ECB Schnabel. I don't know how you pronounce his name. And look at this, the Bank of England Cunliffe. How can you tell? Is there one way of discerning that all of these clowns are working in cahoots? Well, how about the fact that they're all lined up to be giving speeches all basically pretty much the exact same time right around the world, just bang, 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 bang. So I'd be a little bit careful around this. This looks a little bothersome in here. And like I said, we'll see what this silly Bank of Canada doofus has to say. But that kind of data print, he should be like, whoa, you know what? Maybe we're not done raising interest rates, but who knows? So econs are a bit light here today, coming out of the gate. Like you can see, not really much in the US. In fact, nothing. So we were having fun in the day trader room, battle stations. And actually, I strapped on a short. I had a really nice short working right off the top. But the problem here is as I come in to these daily briefs, I don't really like to have a position on because it kind of freaks me out. But you can see I hit this 88.6 up top here. And market played with me a little bit and then started to work really nicely in my favor. But I took the position off heading into the daily brief, but I wouldn't be surprised if this continues to work its way down. Interesting thing about this chart, and like I said, there aren't any econs to drive price, but this is a little bit suspect in that, well, it looks like a megaphone. So you see 1, 2, 3, is that tagged? Looks awfully close. Then 1, they went after the overnight lows early in the US session, typical liquidity pool hunt. And I was even sort of, I don't know, counseling. I don't know what the right word is. The day traders, especially the aspiring day traders, guys like Justin. The year after year after year, if you want to learn something from these videos, I think this is the free video that we're doing here. This is a really good example where, they almost always do this. They'll put a bottom in. You see, this is like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, my time. This is through Europe. The Americans open up, ding, 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 ding. They do their business. And the very first thing they do is they go after that liquidity pool. Let's go get some free liquidity. And then, boom, take the market right back up. And then we were, sitting there, contemplating how were they going to run this into these 4, 6, 6, 9s. This is also a really, really good lesson in previous days trading ranges, where this was the trading range from Friday. And interesting enough, that was a value low level. So you can see how they brought the market up right into that level. And they said, well, do we really want to accept back into value? And if they did, then this is where we're not allowed to call it the rule anymore. But if we accepted into value here, 80% of the time, we should actually go up to value high and test value high up there. And that's my old beloved boss, miss him dearly. Actually, I haven't been on Top Step in a bit. I should go and say hi to them. But this is Hoag's 80% play that we teach in our volume profile class. And actually, it's interesting. Somebody on the site said they found a site where somebody said they would give you $25,000 if you could find somebody else on the internet that taught volume profile. I was like, damn, go get their money, because we've been teaching volume profile forever. So anyway, so really good lesson here where the market rallied up, tested Friday's low end of the range and was rejected off of it on first blush, which is pretty typical. So no Hogia 80% play, but at the same time too, like I said, and this is not a bad area to take a short shot. If we reject, then we probably have to come right back down into trendline support, fibs, candle body lows for trade location, all that kind of fun stuff. And that's sort of what's going on right now. But as I said earlier, I don't really like to have a position on while I'm doing the daily brief. It's just too distracting. So anyway, all right. So that gives you sort of an idea what we were doing in the day trader room right out of the gate this morning, and it was cool to see. We had guys going long and short. Craig was running his CFU trading plan like a boss. Andrew actually has built this entire 7 a.m. Trading matrix. So we're having lots of fun talking about internals and price structure. It's a really enjoyable experience with the guys first thing in the morning. It's a Monday. Mondays are usually pretty wonky. There's no econs that are really driving price. We've got a whole bunch of Fed speakers tomorrow. I mean, you saw the whole damn litany of them. So I don't know. I don't think you're going to see a hell of a lot out of today. I suppose just quick boo at news. Poor people of Turkey. I get the impression that there's been quite a bit of damage done overnight. There was an earthquake. They said even just like an aftershock was like 7 point something on the Richter scale. So unfortunately, quite a few people. So they're saying more than 2,300 people died. That's some serious. Oh, excuse me. That's pretty big. Hey, what the hell, man? There's earthquakes in Buffalo, New York. I can't remember the last time I heard of earthquakes in Buffalo. Interesting how the globe itself is kind of yearning. But their Turkey earthquake country's worst disaster in 84 years. So unfortunately, it's going to be a bit of a tough time there. And my hunch is that's probably going to dominate the news headlines for the next little bit. So anyway, best wishes there. Of course, the Americans and sort of Hollywood nonsense were all wrapped up in their sort of rigged music awards last night. I always find that funny when they joke about the Grammys. Not really relevant either one way or the other. Not really seeing too much otherwise really news wise. I mean, that funny balloon situation. I thought that the funniest thing about that balloon situation was Saturday Night Live. They did a sketch on an interview with the balloon, and of course all the balloon jokes. You making fun of my body shape and all that kind of stuff. Other than that, I mean, I find the whole thing about China actually being, pissy about the whole situation. Like, shut up. You launched this damn thing into somebody else's airspace and they knocked it down. What a surprise. So, anyway, did hear interesting sort of rumblings. And now what I'm hearing is the Americans are, I tell you, that you can just feel there is a major showdown with China coming. And now the Americans are spinning it like they're using Ukraine to practice their global, what do you call it, supply chain. There's a logistics, right? They're using Ukraine to practice the logistics because they want to be ready, willing, and able to basically take it to the Chinese the moment they decide that they want to go after Taiwan. So I thought it was fascinating. The Americans are actually spinning it that this is a good thing what they're doing in Ukraine, and that this will make them more prepared to go to war with China. So the narrative is already being spoon-fed to the American public. And I've also heard quite a bit recently, a lot of anti-Asian rhetoric is really starting to ramp up. So that's interesting. I mean, there's like racial issues and stuff down in the States. And unfortunately, you're going to have like Filipinos, you're going to have Japanese, you're going to have Koreans all wrapped up in this because they're going to be like sort of, targeted and stuff. And it just goes to show racism is actually pretty stupid. But nonetheless, you can feel the temperature. It's almost like there's an agenda to get the propaganda up and running and ramped up to justify a war with China. I can feel it coming. Anyway, somebody record the date and time when I said that, and when the bullets fly, we can go, I told you so. I knew this was going to happen years ago. Anyway. No econs, no real, economic news. If anything, probably going to have a lot of sort of backfilling for the people in Turkey and Syria and stuff. That's probably going to dominate the news headlines and relief programs and stuff like that. So in a weird sort of way, the capitalists are probably like, phew, okay, they'll take the attention off of us. And we were kind of noticing that crypto was looking a little waffly there yesterday. And I noticed this morning that, hey, look at that. A bid's coming in right across the board on crypto here. And also, too, probably more important, NASDAQ. I think NASDAQ and crypto to a certain degree are connected at the hip. NASDAQ trying to put in bottoms. You can even see the S&P got dragged higher. Interesting how the Russell 2000, sort of the broader, smaller part of the market, not that happy. So we've been sort of talking about this recently, that I do believe that things are looking a little nosebleedy in the stock market. Here is the S&P, the S&P 500. Coming out of the new year, interesting how we had this big breakout from this diamond pattern, and it's just been basically one directional right into the month of February. Talked a little bit about the January barometer, said that right out of the gate, they were looking for a bit of a pullback in the market. And of course, the cliche goes, you sell, you buy your unleaded the middle of February, sell it the middle of May. You made money 9 out of the past 10 years, but we got to get to the middle of February. And it's interesting. You see the crude market's coming off a chunk here. We're even thinking maybe a bottom there, but nope. And actually this low here right now, and this is on the March contract, that'll blow out this whole sort of cup and handle kind of thinking. So I don't know how this seasonal trough, here we are, the middle of February, if you wanted to play the unleaded market, but wow, technically speaking, that looks nastier than nasty. Obviously, this head and shoulders is off the table. Do have double tops working on the crude, so we could probably even do things like fog and bombs. Let's go there to there to there, and let's flip that around. Boom. Oh, all right. So you can see that, actually, I would prefer. Well, actually, if we're going to go off of there, we got to go all the way down there, right? Wow. What's this high? 82.66, 82.64. Oh, interesting. All right, so 2.618, just a little bit lower than where we are right now. Probably a beautiful, and then we went after the stops move here. Once we hit this fog and bomb level, though, I would expect us to rally right back up and kiss the underside of that original M top there. And I suppose also too, there's that fog and bomb working. And a bit of a runny nose. Liam, I guess, has a bit of a cold, so I end up picking up his colds. Anyway, so looking for some sort of pivot down in this area on the crude would make sense, especially given the middle of March, or excuse me, the middle of February. So we'll see how that goes, risk on, risk off. Stock market, like I said, that's actually it's not an inside bar. It is a 3-bar fractal fail. We gapped lower. So if anything, this is actually a really cool screenshot. Take a shot of this. That's what's called an island top. So you can see how the market gapped higher and then gapped lower, leaving basically a gap that direction and a gap that direction. This is, I don't see anybody on the internet who teaches this kind of stuff. But I used to, one of my favorite sort of instructional manuals on trading the stock market was produced by these guys, the CRB. And this document, she's probably about 40 or 50 years old. Does it even say? Copyright 1934. Wouldn't that be funny if that was the first issue of it? I don't think so. But anyway, this is a document that I love to teach off of. And this is actually a really good example. You can see here is gapping price action. And there is an island top, island reversal, gap higher, gap lower, gap lower, gap higher. So This would be interesting to see what happens here on the ES, right? If we cannot recapture that gap, that might actually be quite a nice little topping pattern up there. So keep your eyes peeled. Like I said, I actually did like the idea of hunting shorts this morning, just more as a fade trade though than anything else. Uh, all right, thank you, sir. Let's see. I suppose the only other thing really at this point, I mean, I didn't really see anything that was like in the stock market I wanted to go and pull the trigger on. I was watching this thing pretty closely to see whether these weekly double bottoms would confirm, but you can see we actually gapped lower going the other direction on this thing. So there's really no trade there for me there. Very interested in this LCE lithium. This was one of our TRI SOF club members' ideas. Of course, I'll buy on reloads on pullback, so I can't chase that. I am very interested in this Westport. Beautiful. Look at that W. Oh my goodness. And you tell me, does this thing have any room to move up here? Is there any chance that you can get a double on this thing going forward? I mean, I don't know why more people in this sort of public space don't talk about charts like this. I mean, this is basically what I try to teach all you guys. That's got money written all over it. Actually, I did recently buy this one, same sort of idea. This guy has a outside upside weekly key reversal. Oh my goodness, so sexy. So I bought that breakout there, but same sort of logic. I mean, you tell me, has this thing got any room to move up here? So I think there is some money to be made, but you can see there's a lot of red on the screen in the stock market today, including crypto. I think crypto pulled back. We have that crazy fundamental event coming up in crypto land, the middle of February. I think it's in about a week or two. So I know it's actually 1 week and 1 day. The federales are going to be talking about crypto and crashes and stuff like that in the U.S. Senate. So I don't think it really makes sense to think of a huge move up here in crypto ahead of that. I'd be a bit surprised. Interesting, coins turned its way back up. Here's a good example where I just initiated a dollar cost averaging buying program on this name. And actually what I think is happening here now is this looks like a big inverted head and shoulders. Actually, look at it. I've already have it on the screen. I don't need to do it again. Let's get rid of that. So left shoulder, head, probably rally back up into this neckline level here, then back down into right shoulder. And of course, this will happen through the year 2023, so that when we head back into crypto bulls, you'll look back and you'll go, well, gee whiz, there's a big fat bottom working. So right here, kind of no man's land. We could very easily pull back and do some, there's moving average support, but at the same time too, we could rally up into this neckline. I mean, it's kind of a coin toss right here. No pun intended. And I suppose you could argue, I mean, I don't know whether this guy's lost a lot of credibility in the space, but same sort of thing. This Michael Saylor guy, you can kind of see, I mean, we talked to you guys about 88.6s and, Simon Dixon says anytime market corrects 80%, that's Bitcoin in particular, not a bad idea to step in. So it wouldn't surprise me now that we are into 2023. It wouldn't surprise me that over the course of this year, this thing ultimately bottoms out. You can see there's a couple little trading ideas that we've had over the years. I mean, it can't really do anything right there. It's kind of no man's land. Little names did take some money off the table on things like the Matic, just because my plan originally was to sell against these highs. So I just did. Is that a 3-bar fractal top? Looks kind of like an empire there, eh? And the empire actually did fire. So that is technically a bearish pattern working. It's interesting how this sushi, probably a vote on Binance and CZ, I guess. But he's doing okay, up a little bit. The trader trade setup that we talked about just killed it. I'm in the Joe 6-pack trade, so I'm just treading water. And interesting how Link just can't seem to get going here, but you can see an inverted head and shoulders trying to form here. So we can break out through this 7.5 area. I think Link will join the party, but for the time being, kind of stuck in the mud. And he also has that 3-bar fractal fail working here. That did fire this morning. So I'm not overly impressed. And I can't really come in on the buy side. Of course, here is yield Bitcoin. Huge move up. Could we work our way a bit higher here? There are a couple technical levels. There's a whole bunch of stops just sitting up here. As I said, we've got like what, 4 different Fed governors all speaking tomorrow. I suppose if they come out relatively dovish, you might find that the whole damn risk market takes another leg higher. In that case, I could see Bitcoin push up through the top. To me, this just looks like a V top, right? We made a new high and then we've backed off. So as this diagram illustrates, I'm thinking head and shoulders top. And I do remember in the Broiler Chicken show yesterday, I specifically said that if there was going to be a trade location to keep your eyes peeled on, I love the idea of watching for this 23,735 area up against these candle body highs, which would make a nice head and shoulders top, your right shoulder. So on this event, when we get up into this area, wherever the hell this is, and it happens, probably ahead of next Wednesday, maybe even through the weekend, let's keep an eye out for any kind of potential short trade setups through that window, because I think that is a killer trade location. Then, what's cool about this is you're not going to be taking a hell of a lot of risk, but what usually will happen is if this is a bull, it'll just go ripping straight through that level, and it won't even give you the opportunity to get short. It'll just go, I'm a bull, look at me, pow, it's way higher. I don't know whether I don't think working as an order at that level is a good idea. I think you probably just want to wait and watch how the market acts through here. If we start getting divergences off lower time frames, start getting M's and stuff, that might be one hell of a trade location to keep an eye on. As it is right now, according to our breadth indicator, just, that's not an image I want to be overly bullish about in the stock market. Like I said, we got all these Fed speakers tomorrow. This could turn actually pretty ugly. Then we look at sort of the rest of the breadth of the market, and it's sort of like, meh, Dow just rolled over. Transports had already been working a bear pattern. The bond market's rolled over. Sectors aren't very happy. Commodities are just sort of treading water sideways. And if anything, right, middle of February, that crude oil might just put in a bottom and take off here. And ironically enough, the only market that's still relatively uppy is Asia, and that's all about the China reopening. So we'll see how that goes, but negative, and these two look very negative. And then crypto, right? I mean, we've basically come back to the midpoint of the studies, right? And this is what often happens with these oscillators. When you're egregiously overbought, you probably want to cool your jets. When you're egregiously oversold, you probably want to be on the buy side. Quite often, they'll just sort of flatline right at the 50 level as we sort of figure out, okay, what's the next trend direction? And if we resolve through this 50 area negatively and you start seeing new M's come in, interesting, right on the 50 line, you can see the very noticeable battle in the entire crypto verse. And I do think that crypto is an excellent leading indicator. So let's just let this tell us if we W out here and this fast starts crossing back above the slow, we're right back into the damn buy mode. And of course, you can see the overall battle going on in the cryptoverse. But as it stands right now, I'm still on the sidelines, still waiting. And, just looking at price action itself, I don't see a hell of a lot of reason to do anything here right now. And sort of the knee jerk, sort of hold a gun to my head. Which way do you think price has to go? I would say on short term, we're still pointing up. We have not broken down yet, but the internals are very, very weak. This is not the kind of environment where you're like, all right, the bulls are rocking and rolling. The bulls are not rocking and rolling. If anything, the bears are asking themselves, do we want to take over here? If you see some serious selling pressure come in here and we push close through this 13 EMA, then I think the bears are going to take over here for a while. But at the same time, too, this is almost like it's too early or it's too late to buy. You're way, way, way too late to buy. You're probably still a little bit too early to short. You want to take some profits on the way up because that's just good money management. Nothing wrong with that. Sell halves on doubles, those kind of things. Move stop to scratch. That way you can't get hurt on the other side of the trade. If this thing does want to keep pressing higher, fine. If the algo turns back up, I'll just go right back in on the buy side on the corn. But for the time being, I think it's just a big hurry up and cool your jets. All right, so on that note, I think we'll probably leave the summary. That was about 30, 35 minutes, not bad. We'll head on over to the daily brief after party, of which I have a lot of actually this document's coming together really nicely, I have to say. Found some more resources to what happened in 1971, trying to explain the crazy ass world that we're in, trying to explain why housing has gone the way it has, and unfortunately the rise of tent cities and stuff like that. And I'm also, what I really like is I'm getting a lot of sort of I've asked site people to help me make this the best damn document we can, and I think it'll make for a great sort of marketing piece to bring TRIs to the public's attention. And I think it's really good free research that hopefully helps explain why the world's acting the way that it is. So I was very, very pleased and proud of the work the site's working together as a team, bringing that together. The only other thing I mentioned is, like I said, in the after party, quite a few questions I left unanswered yesterday that I spent a lot of time speaking to this one gentleman. So I think we're going to put you on the back burner here now, Lucas. On to the rest of the students. We got to help everybody here. All right. Okay, we'll see everybody in the after party. Hope you enjoyed that. PMA for the win. All the best, and bye for now.